All right, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on the break, we were looking at civil service reforms, ensuring accountability, transparency, effectiveness, addressing matters of corruption, hire and fire. And we have in the studio our guest, a public affairs analyst, Dr. Dokun Adedeji, as well as a lawyer and social development advocate and member, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Jide Ologun, in the studio, looking at some of these issues. And Dr. Adedeji, before we went on the break, I was saying that I'll come to you on this matter of ensuring accountability. If you recall, when the president was, when the ministers were swearing an oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria on Monday or Tuesday by the president made a statement there that they have to ensure accountability. They have to ensure that they are obliged to restore faith in governance in the minds of Nigerians, also ensure transparency in their dealings. Now we are looking at reforms. How challenging is it? Because these are issues that have been spoken about over the years when we're talking about reforms, how these ministers meet resistance when they are trying to ensure accountability, deliver on their mandate. Even the matter of hire and fire is seeming like these people wield so much influence that these ministers cannot do anything. So talk to us from this perspective.
I said something at the beginning. All the things we discussed in a chain. If we just take something in silo and deal with it, it's not going to work. Right. It's somebody looking at the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? How do we, when a man comes to be president, what are the innate reasons for aspiring to power? Is it for the sake of just being there or leaving a legacy and saying, when I was there? I take it, people say to me, oh, it's difficult. Oliko Iransonkule was minister in this country under Ibrahim Babangida. We all knew what he did. It was clear because he himself came with a direction and he was allowed to perform. And during his time, hardly would you hear, oh, this controversy, or all kind of. It depends on the people we choose. One, how do we choose them? Who are they accountable to? The ministers themselves, who are they accountable to? They may say, oh, the president chose them. What about the other areas of accountability? How is it possible in this country that you have accountability? The accountant general of Nigeria can steal so much. How do we allow a system that is so porous that anybody can... You see, when they talk about money, they say, you think it's monopoly money. Billions in this same country. And then it just goes away. And not only that, when you do all this hire and fire, upon what do you hire, upon what do you fire, why do you fire? In Nigeria, there's no consequence for any action. That is either punishment or reward. The only thing we do most times in this country is we like catchy words, catchphrases. Oh, everybody's doing it, so we want to do it. But we don't know the foundation behind it. Mr. Logan was talking. You think in the UK, you yourself, when you want to go by bus at 7:15, you don't leave your home at 7:15. The bus will be there. It will not wait. It sees you running. The bus driver says, it won't stop because somebody is waiting at 7:20. How do our buses run? We look at this thing globally without looking at the very foundational things that make them work. The civil service can only work depending on the people who are there. And let me give you an example. When Buhari came, Buhari has come, his body language. 2 months, they watched his body language. When they saw the body language became normal, they reverted to normal. The thing is, how do we hold people responsible for actions they commit? We don't. We don't reward, People were ministers in Buhari's government for 8 years. And we can't say this is what they did. And nothing happened to them. Some were so anonymous that you did not know that ministries exist. Somebody must wake up and take responsibility for these things. If we do not, as a people, have a roadmap, you said something the HR man said, 21 to 25. I'm just aware. And this is 23, almost ending. So what has happened between 21 and 23 that we can show, these are the signposts of success over that, and then also, this is now we are going from what we are gotten to. There's nothing. If you put a man as a minister when Ms. Tinubu was probably talking to them, say, oh, go and be transferred, go and be this. What are the yardsticks is given to them? In your I'm calling him pastor because he's my pastor. He says, I want to give 1 year, we must have light. How can we in 2023 be talking about booklets for passport and that is unavailable and somebody has not gone in your fire and fire?
Yeah.
So what had happened over the years that is continued. Let me give you an example that I know very well. When Dr. Kolade was High Commissioner in the UK, you know it was difficult when you were in the UK to get your passport. So he sat down and said, why should it be? If you applied in London, you go to Manchester to take your picture and do the... He said, why should that be? The machine was in Manchester, but he said, bring the machine to where people come.
Exactly.
And within a week, 2 weeks, people were getting their passport. Was it magical? It wasn't about persons. It's about accountability, about a man who says to himself, you see, the greatest control or the form of discipline is self-control, self-discipline. If you come into a government, let me tell you, the civil servants are watching the ministers. They go and read antecedents, and then they hold them like this. Because they know, so what do you want to say when this is hanging over this? That's the way Nigeria works. Until we can disentangle ourselves from all those things, and this is not deal, it's foundational. What do we want as a people? What do we want as a nation? Pastor is talking about Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew knew that the rate where we can't go this way. Somebody has to be this hard and this hard. But today they are different. Singapore is just a single city nation. It's the cleanest country in the world. Look at what happens. A man is sitting in his car. He throws something on the road. You know, they do, on one radio show, they say you eat amala, you can't be washing your hands. Those are things that, and we think that it's systemic. If we don't begin to do a paradigm, and that's why I said at the beginning that the NOA has to wake up. If we don't change the paradigm in our people, the thinking, expectation, when a man becomes a minister, already there are 10 people waiting for something from him. And then they say, oh, he became minister, I didn't give me contract. Is that why he's a minister? Many people are sitting down today, they can't talk because they're waiting for the gravy train to move. That cannot be the way we work. And this is value system. Why civil service worked before, why governments worked before, like in Western region, was the value system. The man who is there, you can see him. People have faults. I don't have a problem with that. But is it so damaging that it can influence other people to do negative? If you put somebody there whose pedigree is questionable, how can you get him to be accountable? Who will be accountable to? How can they call people to accountability? Now in HR, when people come to you at the beginning of the year, you give them things to do. You say, this is my expectation of your working process this year. And then mid-year, somebody reviews it.
Yeah.
The person I told you, these are the key performance indicators that I expect. And then you come half year, you can't say what you have done with those things, and then you remain at the job. End of the year, they keep you at the job. Of course not. They'll give you a year and then give you maybe 3 months to redo. If you don't, they fire you. That can't happen in Nigeria because the man will call somebody because he came there from the civil service of another state. Because of, I'm not saying affirmative action is not good, but it must have a limit. Competence cannot be subsumed under affirmative action. That, oh, because he's from this place, you can do. We can do it for a short while. We can't do it forever. And then anybody can just be there, and then he comes to sleep, and then the person under him is the person that is doing the work, and then you want accountability when he doesn't have a contribution to what the system is. My sister, you know, the thing is, I don't want us to talk like Nigerians talk and we go away. Somebody must be sitting down to do something. And in doing it, we lay a roadmap, and then we follow the roadmap. And then if you tell the minister that if in 1 year you don't perform, you go, he knows that if he doesn't do, he goes. But will he go? When the party apparatus comes and say, oh boy, you are looking at... Because as these people are there, as the new government, by media will be looking to second term. How can you call people to accountability? If people think second term or continuity is like that, is what we use to measure success, of course not. You can spend it. I mean, we can spend it. I mean, my colleague brother Fashola, I mean, we know, we can see the rudiments of the things he did are still there. You know, that is, I mean, I don't know him, so it's not that much. But you can see somebody who came in with a determination. He can make mistakes. I don't have a problem with that. But you can say determination of success. You can say a man who wants to leave his name in gold.
In gold, yeah.
How many of men like that do we have?
Perhaps Wike is championing that cause.
You know, my challenge with Mr. Wike is this. Too much talk. Do something. I know he can do. But you know, the thing is, that the gentleman you spoke to before this one said, FCT does not exist on its own. It exists as a Nigerian component. There are various units. And the thing you must know is, if you want to work in any FCT, there's Ministry of Works. There's Ministry of this. If it doesn't liaise with them, you can't go to an area and just clear them without, is there a full survey? What do we need to do here? You want to build a road. What are the associated things with the road? If you clear this area, if you build this road, are you building this road for 10 years for immediate? Those are differences that they must make. And it's not just sit down and then make, no, we're going to do it. No. I'm not particularly in tandem with all these ministers who came the first day they were sworn in and they began to talk. That's not the way to work. Really? I think the thing to do is get there. Yes, I'm in this ministry. And then you will know in your heart, you meet the top people there. And then from there, if you don't get the buy-in, you just come there and say, wait for them. Passport must be ready in 2 days. They'll wait for you. Come and show us where you print it. Come and show us how it comes in. I mean, you know, those are things that follow them. And then they'll say, we want to give you passport in 1 week, but it hasn't come from India where they print it. And all those kind of things. Are those things rocket science that we can? I read somewhere that the central bank used maybe 22 billion to print and distribute naira last year. And you ask yourself, rocket science to print money? How do other countries do it with constraint? When people fail and they are caught. In Japan, if you are caught, nobody even catches you before you either go commit suicide or do so. Look at what happened in Hawaii. The man in charge of emergency saw that he failed because he resigned, although he said health reasons. But that is accountability. No, but can a Nigerian resign here? A minister resigned that I failed. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure it can happen.
Maybe this crop of ministers.
They apologize.
They apologize.
Maybe this crop of ministers will do that. But he mentioned something, and which is at the root of all of this conversation, talking about value system. If we want to restore value system, where do we begin?
You know, people have said often that, oh, the leadership is a reflection of the society, but then the leadership gives direction to society. Mm-hmm. If you look at Rwanda, Paul Kagame came and changed the governance mindset in the direction of unity. Okay, let's stop all these ethnic divide syndrome. Let's unite as a people. He moved on to revive the tourism resource. I think in 2018, Rwanda made about $400 million just profit from people coming to watch gorillas. And he synergized with the society. In the community, when they give names to young gorillas, they share from the, shared values. So when the gap between the leaders and the citizens begin to disappear, and the system is efficient and responsive to the public, then we can move along. It's only at a point in this time, in the days of the first days of General Buhari and Idi Agbon, you don't just step out and urinate. That came from leadership. That urine is so expensive. You hold it till you get to a proper place. And they say, Kai, kick against
indiscipline. Yeah.
And let me talk about being responsive. Leaders should not just stay away as if those who have entrusted responsibilities to will carry it out. Let me commend the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, with the reconstruction of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway going on. You need to go under the bridge by Otedola, link back again. And that portion of the road became very bad, terrible potholes.
Yes.
And I went on radio to just appeal to a governor that please attend to this. And I can tell you within 3 or 4 days, it's been fixed. That's what we are talking about. Listen to the people. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And when we are talking about this reform, Oronsoye dropped his report, 800-page report, on the 16th of April, 2012, in which he recommended that you scrap about 105 agents and parastatals,
Yes.
retire those who have spent 8 years,
Yes.
which was going to affect many directors and some PAMSECs, and that is the micro cabal system. So those who will be affected will rise up and say, this thing we don't go allow. So we need effectiveness. And that's why you talk about vision. Where are you going? And leadership plays a critical role. In the UAE, Sheikh Zayed was out with his team to turn a desert to an earthly paradise. At a point in time when they were embarking on the agricultural project, the Western world said it was not going to be possible. And as a leader, he told his people, this is our land, this is our project. Let's go ahead with this experiment. And today, it's a success. So it's a matter of will. A matter of will. And again, for all those who are involved, whether in the ministerial level, in the civil service level, to know that you will leave office one day. If you can afford an armored vehicle now because taxpayers' money will be used to purchase it for you, when you leave office, you may not be able to afford an armored vehicle after 4 years, if you know how life runs. So what kind of a society will you develop while in office? Permit me to make reference to, we even read less about Amechi right now. You see, so, and that's why we are talking about effect. Let's see this nation as a nation that must rise up. What stops us from having electricity? We have all the energy mix that we need in the country. And we noticed that when President Tinubu was sworn into office, there was electricity.
Yeah.
But like Dr. Tokun said, these people will watch. And when they see that the president is distracted, they come back with their sabotage syndrome. So effectiveness, monitor. I've heard of a former governor who will move into a vehicle that is not so exotic in the night to go and monitor projects given to contractors and call them in the morning that this is what I have discovered. Targets. Because naturally, human beings want to be lazy. And that's why a baby is born, you say, leave me alone, leave me alone. People want to be left alone, but you don't leave them alone. A man said that if a project fails, it fails from conception because you must monitor the ecosystem and ensure that the right things are done. And Doctor mentioned the issue of corruption. The provisions are there. Section 15, subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. So how has China achieved it? China even goes after their citizens who are corrupt outside of China so that you can upscale the profile of your nation. So we need to deal with all this. And the Oronsoye report is still there.
It should be revisited.
From 2020. It's just kept in the cooler. It's still there. So you don't even need to set up another committee. My position, and that opinion is personal to me, that Nigeria has enough recommendations to solve all the problems in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes. We are very brilliant at it.
So what happens to us?
We don't implement.
No, you
see, we hardly implement.
The thing that happens is there is no expectation.
On the part of who? The people?
All of us. Okay, this government has come. As a Nigerian, in 4 years, how do I want to measure the success relative to me and relative to the conditions we are in at this moment? We don't have. The only thing we have is, what can I get? And the one you get for your family, that's all. And people forget, as Mr. Ologun said, you ride on the same road. The same light, the same everything. The problem we have as a people, and it comes to what you said about value system. Yeah. We need to reinvigorate this so serious. Look, I worked in a corporate world before. My chairman was Dr. Kolade. I remember some custom people came to visit with us. Oh, they said this is an oasis within the Nigerian system. How? Because of the dream of a man. We don't have philosopher kings. People, even when our leaders speak, they can't capture you. They can't motivate you to do it because there's no drive in it. It's a red statement. You can't see them. You can't feel them in the statement they are reading. When Obama speaks, or Kagame that he says, I mean, you can see that you can feel it. And so everybody, it means it.
Passion.
Passion. But when we speak here, people know you are reading it. It's somebody who has sat down, who has written your statement for you, and then you come and read it. Sometimes some of them don't even know what they have read. You see, the thing, until we come with people with fire in the belly, who wants to make a difference, who wants to say, this is my country, and this is what I can do. If we don't do that and then create, Mr. Logan said, these things are there. Or else 2012, the current head of service came out about 2 weeks ago to say, so many directors should go. They are still there. And they will be there. Because happens. What's going to happen? Who's going to call them to act? Because they know why they're still there. They know that nobody can tell them to go. For as long as we have all this kind of selective and all this, the ordinary man under them, you see, that's why I have problem with when they put an IG. The IG comes, he say, oh, we're going to do this. The last IG said the same thing. And so when it becomes routine, the man on the road who is doing Ogawe something, he knows that it's for a short time. Even if they catch them and punish them, after a month or two, we go back to normal. So they will place it. Consistency. Who are you in terms of people expectation? And they look at you, they say, this. Why do we rate some people that they're different? My only challenge with Kagame is building a nation, but there's no process of succession. If there's nobody that will take up the same dream in passion like he is, nobody knows what can happen. We are not building a continuum as a nation. We are building flashes, flash in the saucepan. Somebody comes, blah, 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 makes noise, and it goes away. The things he has made noise about will fizzle away because the person will come. As a nation, we all need to wake up. What is our contribution? When people say government does not drive on Lagos Road. When there's a little traffic, we create 6 lanes. But do you know that people who break the laws and face, go to Lagos about people breaking the law are either military personnel or government officials with sirens. They let them pass. Why do we allow that? Why do people use siren in Nigeria? In England, you can't. It's only the queen or the king that uses siren. And the queen then knew when to come out. She doesn't come out when people are going to work so that she doesn't disrupt traffic. She'll come out about 11. Our program will be between 11 and 2. What do we do here? A local government chairman will block the road. And then we say we are running a system. The next person that wants to come and do the same thing. Look at the paraphernalia of office. And then you want to have system. It's difficult. It's difficult. Unless we begin to look at all those things in totality, civil service reform is good. But what are the complements of those reforms? What is the value system we drive? What do we expect of people? What do we expect of our citizens as a Nigerian? Pastor said something about when Buhari came. You couldn't stand on the road and be making urine. Today you can stand on the Third Mainland Bridge and even poo-poo. Go to Lagos Ibadan Express, the bridge they are building. You will see people bend. Clear visibility. And nobody says a thing. One day I saw a dead body. And I called. If you listen to the question to ask him, is this me? What is your name? Why are you calling us? Is this your phone? When there's a dead body. And that body was not carried. I mean, those are the little things that show that we're not serious as a people. Until we are serious, until somebody puts us in line, I'm not saying with cane, but with discipline. Show us the discipline. Pastor said it. The discipline comes from, you may say the leaders are a reflection, but the leaders can make the difference. One person. Gani Fahimi said to us that it is not number, that's Pareto's principle. 80 people, 80% will be there, but 20% will do the work for 80 people to create a new society. That's the way it works.
Right. And that's a fine place to leave the conversation this morning. a change in our value system very critical. We must thank you, gentlemen. Public Affairs Analyst, Dr. Dokun Adedeji, as well as lawyer, social development advocate, and member, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Jide Ologun, for your time on the program.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
God bless
for this
Nigeria.
conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.